Why everything happening to you is not an accident. The law of destiny operates like the laws of physics. Those who understand it use it to their advantage and live better lives. Those who ignore it run into walls. We believe that nurturing good will make evil disappear. But in the real world, the more forcefully we push one side, the darker its opposite tends to become. A seed already contains the tree. The beginning has already determined half the ending. The Tao Te Ching says this: we put spokes into a wheel, but it is the empty hole at the center that makes the wheel turn. We shape clay into a vessel, but it is the hollow space inside that holds what we need. We build a house from wood, but it is the empty space within that makes it a place to live. We work to create form, but it is the formless that makes it useful. If you ignore the knock of destiny, destiny knocks harder. If you still keep your ears closed, destiny may break the door down entirely. Everything that exists in this world has its opposite pole. As we move through life, we are constantly making choices. We choose health and reject illness. We choose peace and refuse war. But Rudiger Dahlke says something that stops us in our tracks. The moment we choose one pole, the opposite pole, the one we call bad, does not disappear. It goes into hiding. It slips into our shadow. This world is like a great temple built on two pillars, yin and yang. Just as night is necessary for day to exist, every value we call good exists only because its opposite, what we call evil, exists alongside it. And yet, human beings, in their arrogance, try to defy this order of the universe. We try to dwell only in the light and lock away the dark parts of our inner nature in the deep cellar of the unconscious. But the invisible order never allows imbalance. The half of you that you consciously refuse, your shadow, will inevitably appear in your life. It shows up as external events, as the behavior of other people, or as illness in the body. Dahlke calls this the law of destiny. If I refuse to acknowledge the aggression within me, I will keep encountering aggressive people in the world outside. If I look away from my own selfishness, I will suffer endlessly over the injustice of the world. The harsh events we call fate are, in truth, desperate signals sent by the parts of ourselves we have abandoned, asking to be welcomed home. The symbol that most perfectly captures this vast cosmic drama is the parable of the prodigal son from the Bible. Through this story, we are given a remarkably detailed explanation of why our souls descended into this painful world of duality. A wealthy father had two sons with completely different natures. The elder son had never once left home. He remained beside his father in a state of unity. He had never broken his father's rules, never been touched by evil. But his soul had not matured. He enjoyed warmth without ever knowing cold. He experienced fullness without ever knowing hunger. His peace, never tested by its opposite, was fragile, easily shattered. He was a sleeping soul, unable to recognize the magnitude of the blessings surrounding him. The younger son was different. He stepped out from behind the safety of the fence. He stood before his father and asked boldly, "Father, why must I remain trapped in this dull peace? I want to experience that world out there, the chaotic, dangerous world of duality, with my whole body. Give me my share of the inheritance now. I am going to carve out my own destiny. I want to leave this fence and see the wide world for myself." The father smiled sadly and quietly granted his son's request. This was the compassion of the universe, granting the soul permission to enroll in the rough school of the material world. The distant land the younger son arrived in was none other than the world we live in now. This cold, hard world of reality that we stand in every day. At first, his wealth seemed as if it would last forever. He tasted what the world calls success and pleasure. Every night, lavish feasts were held, and countless people surrounded him with praise. He believed himself to be the master of the world. He was experiencing only the peak of the positive pole, the pinnacle of light in the law of duality. But the celebration did not last. His energy began to run out. As his money drained away, the people who had praised him turned their backs as coldly as a tide going out. Those who had called him brother yesterday now treated him as a stranger and drove him from their doors. To make matters worse, a severe famine struck the land. The sky withheld rain. The earth cracked open, and people's hearts, in the face of starvation, turned animal. The younger son began wandering from house to house, begging for food. The fine silk clothes he had once worn were now torn to rags. The proud stride he once carried buckled under hunger and cold into a pitiful stumble. Eventually, he hired himself out to a wealthy farmer in that land, tending pigs. For Jewish people, pigs were the most unclean of animals. The younger son had reached the most shameful, degraded bottom of a life in which the very last shred of his dignity had crumbled. He could not even eat his fill of the carob pods the pigs were eating. He had fallen lower than the animals. One night, as rain and wind lashed the darkness, he huddled in the corner of a cold pigsty, looked up at the sky, and cried out, "Father, in your house, even the servants have more than enough bread to eat. Yet here I am, your son, in this distant land, dying without even the food of animals. Where did the glorious freedom I chased go? Why does the universe give me nothing but this cruel deprivation?" And in the moment the tears ran down his face, something flashed through his mind. A sudden, brilliant awakening. It was the completion of duality. Because he had known abundance, he now understood what lack truly was. Because he had been betrayed, he now grasped the value of trust. Because he had tasted the emptiness of pleasure all the way to the bone, he finally recognized what he had taken for granted at his father's house. That an ordinary piece of bread, eaten without thinking, had been an immeasurable blessing, a vast love. Because he had walked through the dark, he could now see through the nature of light. Because he had known wrongdoing, he understood the depth of forgiveness. He raised his trembling body. He let go of his pride, his ego, his past glory. Only one thing remained: the desperate resolve to return to his father's house. Covered in dust and filth just as he was, he began to walk toward home. But this was not the walk of a failed fugitive. It was the return of a great soul who had integrated all the opposites of the world within himself. The younger son came back, knelt before his father, and said, "Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. Do not call me your son anymore. Just take me in as one of your servants." The father welcomed him with joy, dressed him in the finest clothes, and threw a great feast. When the elder son saw this and protested with jealousy, the father said, "You have always been with me, but your brother was dead and has come back to life. He was lost and has been found. It is right that we celebrate." The words "dead" and "come back to life" mean this: only after enduring the suffering of losing oneself in the world of duality can a person receive the true life of the soul. The moment the younger son turned his steps back toward his father's house, it was not simply a return. It was the completion of consciousness. He was now someone who had experienced both extremes and had gained a center that could no longer be shaken. Dalka says, "When one pole has fully risen, the other must follow." Everything the younger son endured was not a catastrophe meant to destroy him. It was a precise spiritual surgery designed by an invisible order to make him whole. Our lives resemble the younger son's journey. Every failure, every period of wandering is a precious asset of wisdom we will carry home when we return. Those who have never been lost can never find the true path. Those who have never known lack have not yet earned the right to abundance. The deep darkness you are moving through right now is, in truth, the universe's precise design, guiding you toward the most brilliant light. The turbulent events the younger son faced in that distant land were not random. Dalk emphasizes a core principle here, the law of resonance. The universe never throws events at us randomly. Every external event manifests in reality only when it precisely matches our inner frequency. If you deeply hate someone, you are resonating with your own shadow, appearing through that person's face. If you suppress the dishonest parts within yourself and wear the mask of a moral person, the universe will continuously place deceivers and dishonest people around you. If there is someone else's behavior you find absolutely intolerable, it is very likely a forbidden desire or trait within yourself that you have not allowed. Through the law of resonance, the universe keeps sending you homework. Until you accept what you have been refusing as a part of yourself, the world will keep bringing the same kinds of people and events before you. This is not punishment. It is a compassionate signal from the universe. This energy lives within you. Stop turning away from it. Face it. Welcome it as part of who you are. Dalkey goes further to say that even illness in the body is the result of resonance. Psychological conflicts we cannot resolve through consciousness descend into the body as symptoms and pain, speaking to us through the stage of the physical. If your stomach keeps hurting, it may not simply be about what you ate. It may be the soul's cry that there is something in your life you cannot digest, something you are resisting. If your legs ache or you keep spraining your ankles, it may be evidence that you are unconsciously refusing the direction your life is calling you toward, afraid to step into the next chapter. If your vision is deteriorating, perhaps it is because there is something in the world you are choosing not to see. When we react with unusual sensitivity to a particular event, it means our soul still has unfinished homework on that subject. So how do we break free from the repeating cycle of fate? Not by choosing one side of the opposition, but by recovering the wholeness that embraces both poles. Success and failure, meeting and parting. Do not see these as opposite ends of a seesaw. Stand at the very center of that seesaw, at the axis where all energies converge into one. Because when you stand at the center where all opposites meet, the landscape changes. You begin to understand that rising and falling are no longer suffering. They are the rhythm of life. Do not dismiss everything that happens in your life as coincidence or misfortune. Every event is a signal sent by the invisible order to make you whole. Just as the prodigal son acknowledged his wretched state and remembered his father, you too must face your shadow with warmth. Say yes to everything that arises in your life. When joy comes, say yes. When pain comes, say yes. The moment you say yes to both, resistance dissolves, and the law of resonance will begin guiding you not toward suffering, but toward growth. Integrate all opposites within yourself. Success and failure, joy and sorrow, meeting and parting, lack and abundance. When you do, you will finally become a true sovereign, resonating not just with your small personal world, but with the entire universe. You are not lost. Right now, within the most precise order of the universe, through the most perfect path, you are on your way back to your true home. Thich Nhat Hanh once said, "We create suffering when we try to hold on to something other than what simply is." We can easily resonate with dissatisfaction, and we can create a field in which dissatisfaction spreads. To understand something is to enter into resonance with it. To feel that you cannot understand something is to feel the absence of resonance. If you deeply hate someone, you are in truth looking at your own shadow, reflected back to you through that person's face. This energy lives within you. Stop turning away. Face it. Receive it as part of yourself. This is the universe's compassionate message. Everything is held within the invisible order. The shadow you have pushed away and refused to accept will never disappear on its own. Every value we call positive can only exist against the background of what we call negative. There is no such thing as a coin with only one face. The more intensely you desire one pole, the more its opposite accumulates in exactly the same measure in your unconscious. Remember this. Everything that happens to you is a song of love, calling you toward wholeness. Trust this order. Trust it completely.